What is going on, my fellow geeks?
3 movies with elves and a guy with a white beard.
Not a lot of people accept it as canon.
2022 will be the year of Star Wars.
Well, I have more than just one piece of geek news.
I have been Isaac Hunter.
Which is like high culture, but better. What is going on, my fellow geeks, and welcome back to Raving Geeks, your weekly pop culture podcast from Central Michigan Life, where we discuss all things geek culture, which is like high culture, but better. If this is your first time joining us, make sure you follow the CM Life Instagram and Twitter pages for updates on the podcast. And look for us wherever you find your podcasts, including YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on our website at www.cm-life.com. My name is Brendan Valentine. I'd like to thank you all for joining me and my fellow co-hosts this week, who will introduce themselves in a second with our question of the week. This week's question is, what is the first piece of geek paraphernalia that you remember owning?
Oh, okay.
How you define geek paraphernalia is up to you. I will start with my answer. The thing that really turned me into a geek was the video game Batman Arkham City. But I was like well into my preteens at that point. So if we're talking game. Awesome game. And that got me into the Batman comics, and that was just a rabbit hole. But before that, I was really into the Incredibles, and I collected all of the Incredibles McDonald's toys from the Happy Meals. So that, I think, is my first piece of geek paraphernalia because it's like part of a collection.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Hope Good Earl here. I will say the oldest memory I have is a blow-up red chair like Steve's on Blue's Clues, along with the notebook and stuff. So like I could sit and watch Blue's Clues and fill everything out with Steve. But after that, like I know my family would also, if there was stuff at McDonald's with the toys, like the little Beanie Babies, like we would get them from my mom's music classroom for like prizes and stuff. And like when the Madame Alexander dolls came out one time when they had the boys and girls difference, we got those for my sister, and like we would literally pay McDonald's just $2 for the toy without getting any food. And recently when they had all the Stitch little like keychain things, got a lot of those.
Nice.
All good things. Hello everyone. Isaac Hunter here. Coming to you from a poster of the Super Mario Bros. Live action movie.
I never said where I'm coming from. I'm hanging out with Lego Ben Swolo.
I mean, I'm in the Lego room of requirements with Harry, so yeah.
Yo, we're all just chilling today.
I could have went with something Lego, which my first geek paraphernalia I remember owning. I mean, besides like clothing and stuff that my parents got me, like obviously there's pictures of me wearing like a Mickey Mouse hat that I used to have when I was really little. Legos I've owned, I feel like my whole life, because I think my siblings own them and I just kind of like got them. Are books considered paraphernalia?
If you define them as paraphernalia.
Okay, I will. But like I remember, even though it's not the geekiest subject, and I think I might have mentioned it before on an episode, the first book I like ever bought with my own money, and well, I didn't actually buy it with my own money, but I like owned personally that wasn't from like my parents' library, is the book Peter and the Starcatchers, and I got it in like first grade. And
I love that book series.
It's so good. I remember there was like a library day in my elementary school, something or other, and I remember like I won something and I got to like pick a book from the table, and like I still have it back here. Like when I moved, I was like, I gotta bring Peter and the Starcatchers. And I mean, it's obviously it's not the most mainstream geek thing, but I mean it's based on Peter Pan. It's kind of like a pre-telling. It's really good. Everyone should read it. Captain Hook still has both hands.
Yes. I have a question. If we're going with books, so the Scholastic Book Fairs, some of the books would come with like something. So like I remember I got one book specifically because it had a bracelet with like a green little like pendant charm gem on it. I liked the book, and the book was like number 3 of whatever the series was, but I was like, ooh, does that count?
That sounds like a bracelet.
Yeah, I don't know. I do remember One time I went to a bookstore with my grandpa and my sister got a Pirates of the Caribbean like pop-up book because it came with like a little dagger, like a pirate dagger. So I don't know. It's definitely geeky. But in addition to our regular co-hosts today, we also have our editor. We're going to call you Mr. Editor in Chief or just Mr. Editor today, Mike?
Why does this keep changing? Oh my gosh. It keeps happening every time. Hi, I'm trying to show myself, but the video is not really going well. My name is Mike. Yeah, I'm the podcast editor. And I think when it comes to geek paraphernalia, I used to have this little Star Wars guy. Do you remember, like, I don't even know how to describe them. Like, they were like little plastic guys that were kind of like oddly shaped. I wish I had a picture, but
no, I actually think I know what you're talking about because I think I had some too.
Yeah, basically I had one of Anakin when he was like in his pod racing stuff, and basically I'd have him with me all the time, and my parents, they actually had two, because if I lost one, I'd start crying like crazy, and I'd be like, "Where's Star Wars guy?" And they would just say, "Here he is," and then try to find the other one.
That's smart. That's good parenting. I'll take that into consideration.
If we don't count my book, my first big collection that I went for was Transformers.
Nice.
Love Transformers. And I have a big bin of them in my garage at home. But one of the earliest ones I ever got, which I still have, is, for those that can see in person, it is a little bulldozer. He is severely missing. He's missing pieces. He is the Autobot Wedge, and I just always really liked him. He is like part of a grouping that they can like combine to make a bigger one, and so like he's got like a giant Autobot head in his body that can't do anything by himself, but he's just pretty great. And
I had something like that turned into a Millennium Falcon, and when you took it apart, it was Han and Chewie.
I remember those ones. Those were the coolest thing because there was a Darth Vader. Oh my gosh, you just opened up a...
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay, so
Big
apparently
fan.
guys' toys are a lot more fun than girls' toys because they're just dolls and stuff.
I mean,
I went with
men don't-
stuffed animals as a kid.
Men don't have
but, like,
imagination, so we need things to do things for us.
girls can play with Transformers.
I mean, I didn't get into Transformers until Shia LaBeouf, so...
I love how you specify Shia LaBeouf when I feel like most people that got into Transformers that weren't into Transformers before that got into Transformers because of Megan Fox.
Nah, I had a crush on Shia LaBeouf for a while, so...
Alrighty, well, thank you very much. And now to get things started, we'd like to share some quick geek news. So, what have y'all got for us today?
All right, I will start us off. I have a couple bits of geek news. One geek news that I found out the other day is that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 has broken a world record that was previously held by The Grinch. And it was for the most makeup appliances created for a single production, which is like practical effects on people. And I think that's super cool because I love practical effects. I do like The Grinch. I
feel like that was all for Dave Bautista.
Probably, to be honest.
Well, and Nebula. Body. I feel like Nebula gets even more. Like I can, recognize.
Nebula wears clothes though, whereas Dave Bautista just kind of.
Well, to be fair, I can recognize Dave Bautista like as Drax. I can't recognize what is the actress that plays Nebula? Why am I blanking right now?
Big fan.
I'm blanking out too, so
I'm blanking on it, and I can tell, but I can't recognize her when she's not Nebula though.
Karen Gillan.
Yes,
correct.
Karen Gillan.
She's great, and she cut all her hair off for that role, which is quite the brave thing to do. And she still looks great. So that's kind of fun. They already, without even releasing, they want to.
You said Nebula, and my brain went to Mantis. That's why I was like,
Mantis too. All the prosthetics.
Oh, half of the team is just.
All right, Chris Pratt, you're lacking.
My other news my other news isn't really news, but just a fun fact that I found out. Because there's a bunch of voice actors in Lego Star Wars.
Yes.
Yes. The first thing I saw was that Shelby Young plays Princess Leia, and Shelby Young is a voice actress, but she's also known for being in Lazy Town is for like a section of years as the main girl. But Daniel Logan, who played young Boba Fett, does the voice for adult Boba Fett in this. And I think that is a super cool callback, even if he probably sounds nothing like the other guy.
Tamora Morrison.
Tamora Morrison, but I think that's really cool. And I mean, like, it's him, it's his character, just older and Lego. All right, and that's all the news I have. Brendan, Mike?
Nice, yeah. I've got some. So, starting this week, tickets were available for pre-purchase for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. We're about a month out, and I already have my tickets, so I'm so excited. That's my birthday week, so I get to splurge.
I mean, I'm gonna add on because that was part of my geek news. But according to Fandango's early tracking, the first 24 hours of pre-sales for Doctor Strange sold more tickets than for any other 2022 film so far, including the Batman. And yeah, so I'm just adding on to that you are part of a record for this year.
Dope. Well, I mean, I heard about it. I'm like, yeah, no, we're gonna do that. Because with the Batman, I wasn't worried about the theaters being sold out. For Multiverse of Madness, because it'll be summertime, mask restrictions are starting to be lifted in our area, so I'm like, well, maybe more people will come out, so be careful. But yeah, and then the other one that I have is on the Mandalorian front. Today we found out that the week that Star Wars A New Hope, or at the time it was released just Star Wars, was released. We thought that was going to be a big week anyway because this week Kenobi's coming out, but now they've delayed it 2 days and they've got 2 episodes coming out. But the day after that, at the Celebration Convention, I believe in Chicago, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau will be at a panel to discuss The Mandalorian Season 3. So by the beginning of June, we'll know a lot more about the upcoming season of The Mandalorian.
Nice.
So also, I just looked up this whole list of voice actors for Lego Star Wars because I haven't. I have gotten to this part, but my favorite voice actor in all of Star Wars is definitely Sam Witwer. For those of you who don't know, he usually voices Darth Maul, but also has voiced the Emperor and was the motion capture and voice of Starkiller in The Force Unleashed. So I freaking love him. He's definitely probably the biggest Star Wars fan behind George Lucas and Dave Filoni. He's right there.
Nice. All right. Well, my first bit of geek news is more on just being a fan side because it is sports related. But last night, the 6th of April, was the first game of the inaugural season of a soccer team in Colorado called the Northern Colorado Hailstorm. And after the 90 regular minutes of play, they were still tied at 0-0. And I'm not exactly sure what's going on in the USL League One, but there's some Open Cup thing happening. But so they went into overtime, which is 2 15-minute segments with a little break in between. And Northern Colorado Hailstorm got their very first goal of their inaugural season, and they won at their very first game. And I was up until midnight watching this game because it was a 2-hour behind us because it's in Colorado. And I thankfully did not wake up my roommate by like cheering and everything. But so I was really happy for that. So if you're a soccer fan, check out the minor leagues, but they're also still pro teams. USL League One, League Two, Championship League, and the Women's League that is starting this year as well. In regular geeky things, for the show Willow, which is going to be brought to us by Disney Plus. Disney has, or Lucasfilms has cast their first transgender actress. Talisa Garcia has been cast in the streaming spinoff of the late 80s favorite. She's best known for the BBC crime thriller Baptiste, and will reportedly play a queen and mother to the lead character Kit. This is also the first time that a trans performer has played a cis character in a Disney Plus film or series. Unfortunately, she might only appear in one episode, but I'm hoping that like once they film that episode, they're like, hey, let's keep her in the rest of the series. But like nothing has been released as far as the rest of the series as well. But also Spider-Man's Tony Revolori is in it, who played Flash.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited to see him in something else.
You should see Grand Budapest Hotel. He's great in that.
Ooh, that one sounds good. But yeah, so the release of this information is like causing some discussions among people, especially with Disney's reaction to the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida. But you know what? I'm just going with the fact that they are continuing to start something new, and that they're moving forward in our world in a way that they should be, casting anybody who fits the role, not just what your pronouns are or how you identify. So I'm happy, and I'm really excited to learn about the rest of the show because it sounds super interesting from the tiny bit of details that I've seen. So, Mike, do you have any news that you would like to add?
I do have something about the Lego Star Wars game that just came out recently. I know. I'm so hyped about it. I actually need to get it.
So much fun.
I might actually get it like after this, but the voice actor for Shulk, who you might know from Smash Bros, he is from Xenoblade. There's a certain line that Shulk says in the game that he's a part of, where he says, "I'm really feeling it," and that's been kind of like a joke for him. And the voice actor is in Star Wars, and he says that line specifically in the game. He kind of has a Shulk reference right in Lego Star Wars.
Which voice actor is it?
It is Adam Howden, and he's an English voice actor. He's a really awesome guy, if you go on Twitter. But yeah, I thought that was actually really funny because on Twitter, when someone finally found it, he was like, "Oh, I guess someone discovered it already, so might as well come out and say it. Yeah, I was part of Lego Star Wars, and we decided to do a little joke."
Nice. That's hilarious. I love that. I have not discovered that yet. Also, I don't know if I would have caught it because I'm not really a big Xenoblade player.
I'm kind of, but yeah.
Adam Howden, if I'm looking up the correct one, I'm assuming there are not multiple Howdens. I think this is what you were talking about, but Star Wars Battlefront 2, he was also a voice talent in for Star Wars. It was a video game, but not Lego related, but just Star Wars in general.
The current one, the remake, or the original Battlefront?
In 2017.
Okay, that's the new one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah, looks like he was. He was also a part of Xenoblade Chronicles too, but the other
Star Wars: The Old Republic, the 2011 game.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So he must really like Star Wars.
I mean, who doesn't, right?
Right. And speaking of which, actually, the background that I have, yeah, there it is. That's the Star Wars guy.
Nice for those of you watching on video.
Yeah, but the other news that I have, I think this might be geek related, but Better Call Saul, the last season, is premiering on April 18th, so Monday of in 2 weeks. And I'm really excited because it looks like this is the final season for Better Call Saul, and for people who really like Breaking Bad and that entire like little universe that they got, I'm hyped. I'm super excited.
You just reminded me of another geek news that I had when we recorded the last episode and forgot about because I did not save it to my phone. But as of April 4th, 2022, Witcher Season 3 has started filming. So I'm super excited for the next season.
Nice.
Yes.
Alrighty. Well, speaking of a few points ago, the new Lego Star Wars game, we noticed recently that there's been a lot of geeky properties that have been crossing over media. We got the new Halo series on Paramount Plus, the new Uncharted movie with Tom Holland, and obviously the new Lego Star Wars game, which has gone from movie to video game. Oh, well, movie to toy to video game. So we just wanted to go through, based on these newest ones, we kind of want to go through the ones we've seen, what we think, which ones kind of bring back some nostalgia, which ones worked in crossing over that medium, and which ones kind of flopped. So, any of you have like a favorite, more modern media cross, or a real classic one that you love?
Okay. I have a lot of real classic ones. I could also talk about more modern ones that include, at least within the past 5 years. But a classic medium that jumped from game to movie and is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think I like the movie better than I ever liked the game, is Clue.
Oh yeah.
That was also a TV show at one point. A couple TV shows, actually, I think.
Look at that. See, it's just the gift that keeps on giving. And an all-star cast, Tim Curry, leading the cast. Such a good movie. It makes me laugh every time I watch it. Meanwhile, I play Clue. I usually, it doesn't have me rolling around laughing.
Hey, you're playing with the wrong people then, Isaac. That's all I gotta tell you.
I've played with people that cheat, and I don't like it.
When Battle Creek Central High School performed Clue as their play, what was really funny for one of their performances, because they were tossing, I think it was the candlestick or something, it ended up out in the audience because someone just the way that they were tossing it didn't quite catch it and got kicked or whatever. The audience was laughing for it. So obviously, Isaac, you just don't have the best experience with Clue. Come on.
The game. The auditorium with the candlestick.
Yes.
It was the cast.
Let's see. Okay, so I haven't seen the movies yet, but they have been on my list to see. The new Jumanji movies with Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, Nick Jonas. That cast right there is just chaotic in itself.
That one's fun because it went from movie to game to movie to movie.
I thought it was a game first before the original.
No,
it was a book. Actually,
movie...
it went from a book to movie.
Wow.
Because the same guy that wrote the book wrote Zathura, in case you're wondering why they're so similar.
Isn't Zathura also a movie?
Yes.
Yeah, except they have a house that ends up in space, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And Kristen Stewart's in it. No, Kristen Stewart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kristen Stewart's in it.
Yeah.
But that's baby Kristen Stewart, pre-Twilight Kristen.
Baby Josh Hutcherson.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot he was in it. Yeah. But that game, after hearing the first one or hearing a short story based off of Jumanji, I never wanted to see the movie or anything, play the game. I was so freaked out. And then the new movies came out and I was like, nope, that looks fun. I want to go see that. And I haven't seen it yet. But
no, it is fun. It's very different. I really liked the original movie with Robin Williams. I think I prefer that one too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, it's a pretty standard Dwayne The Rock Johnson movie.
I mean, but it's got Kevin Hart and Jack Black in it together, and the chaos that had to have happened off camera would have. I feel like the director would have gotten a little annoyed at times, but also just wouldn't have cared because they would have been having so much fun.
What are you talking about? Haven't you seen Jack Black's TikTok? He's the most serious man I know.
I've not. He's on TikTok?
You haven't seen his TikTok?
It has not come across yet. I'm not on Jack Black TikTok.
I'm on his Instagram, and I think he shares the same stuff, with all the Marvel. Yeah.
But Have any of you seen the new Uncharted movie?
It was on my list, but it's not out streaming yet. So
I have not.
Mike?
I need to. I honestly do, but
Then
at the
we will
moment
save it for a later date. I thought it was good, but it's not like the game. Because not the same time frame as the game.
what about all the various Harry Potter games that came out? Because you got
the ones that are based on the movies?
/ books. Because like you've got Hogwarts Mystery, which is
I'm talking the ones that are like Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, the game.
I mean, those ones are good too. I had the first two for my computer growing up. They were great. Continue, Hope.
I mean, like the Lego game is super fun.
Yes.
I think I got stuck in the library though.
Yes.
And I haven't played it since because I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to get.
I got stuck in the first Dementor level in Prisoner of Azkaban. I could never get past it.
It's hard sometimes.
So another crossover. I played the Curious George game on my GameCube because that was one of the games I got. And as a 7-year-old, I couldn't get past this one level where you had to like sneak past the security guard in the museum because I could not figure out how to sneak past him. And I never touched the game for like 10 years. And then I went home after like my second semester at college and was like, you know what? I'm going to try and beat it. But I accidentally reset the whole save files. I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to get there. I beat the whole game in 2 hours.
That's perfect.
How curious.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's designed for 5-year-olds. So...
George.
Oh gosh, that reminded me. Oh, so gosh, this was a while ago, back when PlayStation 2 was still a big thing. But Dancing with the Stars had like a Dance Dance Revolution version. And so it was like you and your partner were dancing, but you were just like using the mat and everything that was fun, but I liked my Dance Dance Revolution game better.
Yeah, I don't know if ballroom dancing really translates.
I mean, it was just moving your feet to whatever song versus
it's just
specific dancing. So I don't know. That one didn't quite work, but it is a thing that happened. If anybody else remembers it.
See, one game that I remember back when I was a kid that actually kind of scared me was this Winnie the Pooh game / Piglet game. Basically, you were playing as Piglet, and you were, I think, like in your imagination, something like that, and you had to hide from like the
imaginary monsters.
Yeah, the ones that like Tigger
Winnie
would
the
talk
Pooh's
about.
Acid Trip, right?
Basically, and what you had to do like quick time events, and if you didn't pull through with them, then the monsters would like scare you. And as a kid, I got freaked the hell out, and I was like, Gabe, my brother, I was like, hey, you got to do this for me. And he would try to do it, but again, those quick time events, they were really hard, and I would not touch the game because I was like, I'm scared.
The same unwaking nightmare that Piglet was in.
It was hell. It was not for kids.
I think that's why like the Disney Channel games that were based on all like the early 2000s, so like 2010s shows were nice, because like the one based on Lilo and Stitch where you helped Ruben get the all the ingredients for his sandwich, or like help Zach and Cody escape from Mr. Mosby. Like when I hear something that Winnie the Pooh freaked kids out, like that doesn't seem right at all. I feel like
no, that sounds pretty accurate.
Really?
Yeah, all the characters in Winnie the Pooh represent different mental illnesses.
Well, I mean, yes, but as a kid, you don't know that.
Supposedly.
Yeah, but it's just like all the characters in SpongeBob represent the 7 deadly sins.
Allegedly. Yeah.
That one's true. SpongeBob was an adult TV show before they finagled it for Nickelodeon.
Yeah, didn't Cartoon Network like not buy it? And they were like, we're going to Nickelodeon. So another game to movie, which has a newer edition, newer adaptation and an older one. Did any of you see the new Mortal Kombat movie?
No, but I did because it looked better than the old ones. Or any of the along the same line, any of the live action Dragon Ball movies
We don't talk about the live action Dragon Ball.
Wasn't there an
Why would you
Assassin's
mention that?
Creed live action with Michael
Yeah.
Fassbender?
Yeah, that was not great. That was not horrible, but it wasn't great.
It was watchable, but I wouldn't.
If you played the games and were expecting something similar to the games with this like deep philosophical conflict, like and like cool history, no, it is not. It's not the same feel.
They didn't pick a good time period either.
No, they picked the Spanish Inquisition, which was like a cool time period, maybe for a game, but I don't know for a movie if that's where I would have gone.
Yeah. Gosh, I forgot I watched that movie in theaters.
I watched it on DVD. I got it from Redbox in high school.
I love Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
Love the guy. Yeah. See, now that we would put in probably the flop section. Not as bad as a flop as some other things.
On the spectrum of good to bad.
Oh, yes. What are you talking about? The Super Mario Bros. Live action movie is a classic. I can't believe they're making another Mario movie that's not live action.
It's not live action, so
this is where I first found out their last names, and that it's Mario and Luigi Mario. And I think he's Luigi's adopted brother in this one. I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie. It is something else.
Wait, did it have like a musical soundtrack to it?
It might have. There was music.
Because I remember getting from like the public library as a kid the Mario and Luigi like soundtrack, and that Bowser's song was called "Ignorance is Bliss." That's all I remember from it, and that one was ridiculous, and it was a bad choice.
Yeah. It's like post-apocalyptic vibes. It's very the rest of those other movies, Running Man, like 70s, 80s, very 80s movies. All takes place in the sewers in this other world, where people, instead of being evolved from apes, are evolved from dinosaurs. That's the difference. And Bowser is de-evolving people, his henchmen, back into dinosaur people, and those are like the Goombas and the Koopas. It's ridiculous, but you have to trust the fungus, and it doesn't have Princess Peach, but it has Princess Daisy.
I have to make this joke because otherwise I feel like my dad would be very upset with me. But the fungus among us,
I wouldn't doubt it if that's a joke made in it.
Are you alluding to the new Among Us movie that will be coming out in 2024? That's not a thing. That's not a thing. But like, you believed me for a second, though, didn't you? Because there's
Chris Pratt is playing Garfield and Mario.
Yeah, I heard about that. They're casting Chris Pratt in a lot of things. I don't know if they should be casting Chris Pratt in, but he gets eyes on it. If we're talking about more like weird nostalgia flops, I do have to mention the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
I have that written down. I own that movie.
That's a thing?
Yeah.
No, okay. They're trying again, too. I'm pretty sure that something will work for new Dungeons and Dragons.
No.
It's either a movie or a TV show.
It's a movie. Yeah, it came out in 2000. It had Scar in it. What's his nuts? Jeremy Irons played the bad guy.
Yeah.
It had the princess from Neverending Story. It had Marlon Wayans, like of the Wayans brothers, as
dude from My Wife and Kids. That's the right Wayans brother, right?
Okay, really.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so your Dungeons and Dragons movie is probably not as bad as the Griffins and Gargoyles game that was based on Dungeons and Dragons in Riverdale.
Okay, but I saw the first season of Riverdale, and I did think it was clever that they went around the copyright of Dungeons and Dragons.
Nice.
Yeah, that was in season 3 with Gargoyle King and everything.
That brings me to a good one that I think is good, is the adaptation from comic to show, but not of Riverdale, but of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the new one.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
I think that's really good. But if we want to talk about like good hits, I think, because obviously video game to movie does not have a good track record. Obviously, with the Mortal Kombat movies weren't great. Let's see, what were the other ones that came out when we were younger that weren't good? Even
I was gonna say, I love the movie, but I know it's bad, and that's Doom. with The Rock.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
Carl
God.
Urban.
It's bad, but it's fun to watch.
It's bad, but it's fun to watch. And Carl Urban is the hero. And
I
The
forgot
Rock
that he's in that. I forgot that
is
that's him.
not a good guy. It's like, wow, this is what I've been waiting for my whole life. I want to see someone beat up The Rock. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh,
But
that's good.
it's not
or heck,
good.
even anime to like live action, like Avatar: The Last Airbender movie.
Oh God, yeah, that one.
I hope they do better with the new live action stuff. That one was rough because not only was it like weird, but like they just didn't keep like the way like bending worked consistent, and that just made it weird because they had to add in all these like weird extra steps. Like the firebenders had to bring like grills with fire in them to attack villages, and I'm like, that's way less menacing.
Also, the waterbending was awful. It was like, let's see, Resident Evil. I really like the first three, but then the third one's all right, but they go downhill fast and they become a caricature of themselves.
Yes.
As a huge Resident Evil fan, I have not watched it, and I do not want to watch them because I love the first three games too much to actually.
And that is understandable. The first two are just like straight up like zombies in a city movie, and then the second one involves like the big destroyer guy with the missile launcher, and
Nemesis.
Then, exactly. And he's got more of a background, but then it just goes off hill. It goes to the and then she gets like the main girl is like she's got psychic powers, and there's like clones of her. I mean, it's Resident Evil, so like the game's also similar, but yeah.
See, that's like the one. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. Go for it.
The one thing that I love about Resident Evil is the fact that up until I want to say the seventh game, there really wasn't anything supernatural about all the like enemies. It was all about biological science. Mutations and everything. And then 7 decided to go, oh wait, but what if there was like kind of a ghost girl everywhere that you saw? So
and then it was fun though.
It was fun.
And like Village is like, you're like, this isn't a zombie game at all.
No, they decide to go medieval.
And it's, I'm all for that vibe.
Wasn't there a Final Fantasy movie too that was trash?
Which one? There were lots of Final Fantasy
Yes, there
movies.
was a live action one.
Yeah, based off Final Fantasy 1.
Final Fantasy the movie. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Final
there
Fantasy
multiple?
The Spirits Within 2001.
They did a Beowulf where they make realistic looking people. But
they also
CGI.
There's also a Street Fighter movie.
Yes.
There was a Street Fighter movie. Speaking of the Angry Birds movie, that also counts in our thing. Oh, the Monster Hunter movie that flopped really hard.
No.
It seemed fine. It came out during the pandemic, so it was weird.
Yeah, is it Mila Jovovich in that one?
I think so.
Yeah, it's the same people who make the Resident Evil stuff.
Another sequel. Rampage, was that good? I didn't see it.
I haven't seen it.
I heard that was decent.
Decent. That counts as a flop.
Okay, I just looked it up. Do you guys remember the 2016 movie based on World of Warcraft?
Yes, I have. Yeah,
Warcraft.
Gosh. And everything looks, I love the orcs.
It looked cool.
Yeah. But everything was so clunky. All the armor was designed to look like Warcraft armor, and so it was like big.
However, we do have our saving graces with Detective Pikachu and the Sonic movies, which I thought both were really good video game adaptation to movies.
I have not seen Sonic yet, but I did like Detective Pikachu.
Well, Sonic, the first movie is like loosely based off the game, but it looks like the second one's going to be based off of Sonic 2 way more. Like as close as they can with it being in the real world and not in, Green Hill Zone. But it looks like, the Chaos Emeralds are going to play a part and everything like that, because obviously Sonic's like world exists in the movies, but it seems like they cross over and come to ours in this one, and that's where the main conflict takes place. But I'm sure like they'll head over and like check out the Chaos Emeralds and everything.
One thing I remember when the first Sonic movie came out was when the first trailer came out and Sonic was like kind of creepy looking, and then everyone got all up in arms, and then they changed how Sonic looked.
When they bullied.
And then yeah, and then
But it worked, right? Like it looks so much better now.
it does. But then like they were like, listen, you all bullied the crew into changing how Sonic looks, so you better go watch the movie. And I think that's what helped boost sales.
Dude, that was my Valentine's date that year because it came out in February.
It actually came out. I think it's
Valentine's
Valentine's
came out
Day.
on
Yes.
Valentine's Day, so I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to see Sonic for Valentine's Day.
What a romantic movie.
It was actually really
good.
awesome.
It's got James Marsden in it. It's fine.
Yeah.
No, it's fun. I enjoyed it. I can't wait for the second one.
Yes,
Yeah, go on.
Oh,
wait.
go ahead.
I was gonna say you gotta go on another Valentine's date, but at that point it would already be on DVD. So we're on streaming.
Probably.
See, I think my favorite thing about the Sonic movie is the fact that, yes, like Jim Carrey is Dr. Robotnik. He is awesome as Dr. Robotnik. They did a good job with they had the problem of having those like CG characters and trying to get like human characters in it, and like kind of like that Hop effect or Alvin and the Chipmunks where it's like, oh, buddy adventure, stuff like that. The second movie, I've heard a lot of people are complaining because they're like, oh, the human characters, they aren't in it as much, and all the people who want to see Sonic are like, good, just keep it Sonic.
It is a Sonic movie. Last I
I need Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik, and that works for me.
I mean,
the only
I think
human we need.
James Marsden's human is gonna be in it a little bit because
he's in the trailer.
Yeah.
He dies in the first 5 minutes. Just kidding.
Yeah,
Don't quote me.
When
Quote me on that.
When Tails opens that ring and that avalanche comes through, that's actually his death scene. They're previewing it in the trailer.
Oh, that'd be so dark.
Yeah.
I was gonna say with Pokemon, all Pokemon TV show was made after the game. The game came first.
Yeah, the games came first, and then the whole anime, the like
card game.
Yeah, good point.
And I think Pokemon, the first movie, is one of my favorite movies of all time with Mew.
Mewtwo Strikes Back. Ooh.
Yeah,
I love how it has the title of a sequel, but for the first movie.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's Back to the Future.
Exactly.
Brilliant, and I do like, and it's like obviously they're still making Pokemon movies. Every season we get one Pokemon movie. But
dude, I remember like waiting for like Rise of Darkrai because that one looked dope. Like on Cartoon Network, it's like it's gonna be on at 7 on Thursday, and I'm like, well, I know what I'm doing at 7 on Thursday.
On that couch. And then of course Detective Pikachu, kind of like, which Detective Pikachu wasn't that based on the game Detective Pikachu?
Yeah. So, but have you ever have you played the game Detective Pikachu?
I haven't. I know he talks.
Yeah, the plot is nothing like the game, but I really wanted them to, like, Ryan Reynolds as Detective Pikachu was awesome, but I wanted them to do like the weird like gruff accent that they have for Pikachu. Like, hey, don't you get, or I wanted them to give Pikachu a Boston accent, but obviously that wouldn't happen. But
can't believe I'm back on my bullshit.
Basically,
let's solve some crimes, okay? Puts out.
Listen, the fact that Detective Pikachu is voiced by Deadpool makes it even better. So, I mean, that's what drew a lot of people in.
I want to say that I remember people wanted Danny DeVito to be Detective Pikachu, and
I remember that, and I
was one of those people. Yeah,
I was definitely one of those too. I was watching It's Always Sunny around that time, and I was like, "Come on, just do it."
It'd be so funny. I love Detective Pikachu. I love that even though they only had like the rights, I think, to show like 50 Pokemon. It was great, but then Ditto freaks me out because if you haven't seen the movie, Ditto can take the form of anything, of course, including people, and it keeps its little beady Ditto eyes that stare into your soul.
I want to find a picture of that again. It has been forever.
No.
Oh, you don't.
I'm not gonna show it. I just want to see for myself again. Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
Oh, I forgot how creepy it looked. Wow.
So don't blame Isaac. When Isaac.
Yeah, there it is.
I was gonna say, don't blame Isaac when you have nightmares tonight from seeing Ditto again. But now I can't say that because Isaac is showing on his screen.
Actually, it hasn't bumped. Oh, there it is. Now it's finally bumped to my screen. Yeah, there it is.
It looks like all the like human characters you'd see in like children's books, like Amelia Bedelia, something like that.
Yeah.
This one's smiling. Yeah. It doesn't even get the cute little Ditto mouth. It's just gross. That's all right. That's all right.
Switching gears a little bit. I think the more hits have been like all of the Lego games. Like that's the combining the toy and then like movie or show property has always been a hit, and I really like those. I know a lot of people don't like the more modern ones because like they talk and everything, but I feel like Lego. So I love how the Lego company is just aware of like all of the memes that come from the properties that they're adapting. Like, the amount of like joke lines and a bunch of like just bull crap in the new Lego Star Wars game is hilarious. Like, the favorite one I've seen so far is in the final confrontation with the Emperor, at the end of Return of the Jedi. Like, it's Vader and Luke versus the Emperor. And the, Emperor Palpatine just drops the line like, "Wow, you were real quick to turn, especially for someone who never achieved the rank of master." And I was like, "Oh, this is like obviously that's not a line from Star Wars, but just like throwing shade at Darth Vader, even though like that's the best meme is like, oh, Anakin never achieved the rank of master and all of the short Anakin's shortcoming jokes."
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is Jurassic World Lego game. I don't know if it happened in the game, but the commercial for it, the T-Rex fogs up a window and then draws a smiley face.
That sounds like Lego.
And my sister's reaction the first time she saw it was, I'm sitting there dying laughing because I thought it was absolutely adorable and hilarious. And she just goes, "That's just wrong." I'm like, they gotta animate it somehow. It's Lego. Come on.
So,
go ahead.
So I found one line from the new Skywalker Saga game, and it's a protocol droid that says, "This is a Tusken Raider camp, home of not just the men, but the women and the children too. What a fascinating bunch."
I love that. Oh, it's so like there's some that are just so dumb.
I like that Lego games have to balance the not like, especially when they didn't talk, they had to balance not only like how to translate that to a non-talking character, but also how to translate to a kid's game. So in like Lego Harry Potter, when Snape gets killed by Voldemort, they're like eating tea and biscuits together, and like Snape takes the last biscuit and Voldemort like looks at him and then sicks Nagini on Snape and he dies. And it's like, it doesn't carry over the same plot, but I love it.
It gets the idea across. I love that stuff. That's so good.
It also plays into the when Captain America Civil War came out and there was the on whatever late night show, I think it was RDJ had the last donut or something, and like they're like, and this is how it started.
Mm-hmm.
The one of red, white, and blue sprinkles, and he's like eating it. It's like, yeah.
Do y'all have any like major like hits? I know we've done a lot of video game to movie, but like there's a lot of books to film and things like that. Anything that's like a major hit to you that's like transferred medium, and especially things that have like transferred mediums and changed their story a lot? Because obviously if it's like a direct translation, it's not always like, it's like, oh, you just take it and move it. But there's some that it takes the idea and really shifts the property around.
Definitely the Percy Jackson. Never mind.
I was about to yell at you, Mike. I was gonna
listen.
Say, no.
Not even Rick Riordan likes the movies. Okay.
That's how you know. The Witcher was a book series and a video game. I think they're more so. I mean, the games are based on the book, so everything's based on the books. Really, that's a success, and it's good, and people like it. They didn't actually change too much though, so I guess.
Well, and Henry Cavill said that he hopes that season 3 is more related to the books too, that it's like deeper into it. So rather than like the last 2 seasons have used stuff from the books, but they weren't like rooted in the books. So but one that I like, and this goes across a lot of different mediums, is anything to do with the story of Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Because like you've got the TV show Merlin, you've got
the episodes in the Justice League Unlimited show where they go back in time.
You got Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh, boom.
You've got Sword in the Stone is another one. King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, plus all of the original lore about King Arthur.
You got Nanatsu no Taizai or Seven Deadly Sins.
Avalon High is another one where the Arthur is actually a girl instead of a guy. Which that movie gives you hints as to who is what character. If you look at the names and who they end up being in the Arthurian tale, like Ali is Arthur. I mean, Lancelot is Lancelot. Yeah, it was one of those that took me quite a few years after watching it. But
there's the one Sonic game that adapted the Knights of the Round Table thing.
Yeah.
Sonic
Black Knight.
Sonic and the Black Knight. Yeah. Yes.
That was good.
That was
combines...
those Sonic, the Wii Sonic games are really good. It's literally just Sonic running, and you have to do. I enjoyed those as a kid. Sonic and the Secret Rings.
I couldn't.
Sonic Unleashed.
Sonic
I
Unleashed.
like that one. I love that one.
Where he's like a werewolf.
Yeah, werewolf at night.
They said let's do whatever we can with Sonic.
That's not crossing mediums. That feels like such a weird change.
Not like a hedgehog. He was a wolf.
Hedgehog.
So I gotta ask, for this book to game thing, could we do something about like inspiration from books?
Inspiration. Yeah.
Okay, then I say Bloodborne. I say that the H.P. Lovecraft books really took inspiration for Bloodborne, and or Bloodborne took inspiration from them, and I
Bloodborne
think
came first.
Yeah, definitely. I'd rather say that.
In a dream to
See, the best part about the Bloodborne game, I really want to say games, I wish, is just the fact that with the H.P. Lovecraft stuff, it can get kind of like, okay, this is fine. Bloodborne is just talking about how British people, they just do dumb things.
Bless.
My favorite thing that's been done with the H.P. Lovecraft property is it's a comic book, so it's not like it's not really crossing mediums, but there's a comic book that crosses over like the H.P. Lovecraft, like the Cthulhu
Cosmic
mythos.
Horror.
Yeah, that with the Sherlock Holmes universe. Oh, it's so good.
The dream.
HBO Max is making a Sherlock Holmes universe based on the Robert Downey Jr. movies, and I'm so excited.
I saw that.
Really?
I was
with Robert Downey Jr. or no?
I think they're gonna try, but that's also
with Jude Law.
I don't know. Like there wasn't a whole lot about it, but like they're planning on making like a TV series or something. But Sherlock Holmes is like another story that's good across a lot of mediums as well. Netflix was stupid and canceled this series after one season, but The Irregulars I thought was really good. Like didn't focus on Sherlock Holmes, but they still use Sherlock Holmes, and The Irregulars was actually like one of the stories of Sherlock is that he used kids to be able to get into the places that, you know, he and Watson, who look very posh, could not get into without drawing attention to themselves. So, but I feel like there have been games based off of like the old stories by Arthur Conan Doyle, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, but
Batman. Batman's based on Sherlock Holmes and Zorro.
And
Zorro, yep. He's like a combination of the two characters. I mean, Zorro is a character that hides under a mask. He is a wealthy sir during the day, and then at night he dresses in all black and fights crime. Which, when you think about it, you're like, wow. And then it's World's Greatest Detective. If we're talking about book to film adaptations, I mean, I love the Lord of the Rings. Just gonna throw that out there. Lord of the Rings, 17 Oscars.
I think my favorite thing that's been adapted that like changed what it was that I really enjoyed. It's another video game to movie, but I really liked it a lot. Is when they made a movie for the Need for Speed games. Have any of you seen those?
Was that the one with Jesse from Breaking Bad?
Yeah. But it ended up being like it was really good. They also filmed a lot of the movie in Detroit. And like there was exits on the freeway that like there's a scene in the movie where he drives up, like not the exit ramp, but like the grass that leads up the exit ramp, and I'm like, I've driven on that part of the freeway, and like I could do that. I won't because it'll wreck my car, but I could do me.
I have the need for speed.
Because obviously Need for Speed is like kind of similar to like GTA and like the style of the game. Like it's not really about the plot of the game, but this one like it kind of turns Need for Speed into like a Fast and Furious type thing, and it was really, really good. Like if you like the first two Fast and Furious movies, then like this was definitely a must watch.
And I grew up playing Need for Speed Underground on my Xbox, the original Xbox. I still have it. Fantastic game. Unlike GTA, you can't walk around, but you can drive around the city like in free play, which is kind of like, okay, stuck in a car forever, but that's fine. Those are good games. Good movie.
Okay, this is going to be a really big stretch, and you can tell me that it doesn't work. But do you think the Nintendogs franchise inspired the movie Pets? And
no.
Pets 2.
No.
I think it was Connectimals with Xbox One Connect.
Please. I think that one of my favorite things from the Walking Dead series is definitely the first season of the game with Lee and
is that the Telltale game?
Yeah, and Clementine.
Yeah, those are good. I like the Telltale games.
Those ones are pretty good. But
for those of you that like choose your own adventure books, play Telltale games. They're real good.
I should look it up, but I wonder if The Wolf Among Us actually has a comic book series, because I know it definitely is just a video game first, but I always felt like it would go across all different media.
Yeah. I think that'd be a sweet graphic novel.
And there definitely is one. Okay. Wow, that was quick. So
the internet's at our fingers.
I'm trying to look up when it was made, so I'll get back to you very soon.
Ooh, I mentioned Transformers. Transformers was a toy that became a show, or I think it was a toy first, but usually sometimes things like that come out at the same time. And then they made movies about it. And then they kept making movies about it.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles started off as a show, and then they turned it to a video game. I still, hands down, I think the greatest video game of all time that I have ever played is TMNT 4 Turtles in Time. It's a beat 'em up on the Super Nintendo, and it is the most fun video game I've ever played in my entire life.
Okay. Actually, speaking of that, and this is also kind of a geek news thing, they are bringing back all the different TMNT arcade games, and they're getting to main consoles, and also you get to play all the different versions, which could be the SNES one, the arcade one. I think there might be a Genesis one, I can't remember, but they're basically bringing every single version of those arcade games just onto one compilation.
Oh, those are so good. I want to so bad.
What about Battletoads? Sorry.
Have you ever seen like it's like a Mad Magazine sketch of like Battletoads meets like Battletoads meets like Dog the Bounty Hunter meets Frogger. They call it Frog the Bounty Hunter. And it's just like a Battletoad has to find his like target on the other side of the street, but he has to play Frogger to get through all the things, and he keeps getting squished by trucks.
Oh my gosh, that is such a weird look.
Frog.
Oh my god.
Well, does anyone have any final comments on like nostalgic ones that you really like, hits, flops, anything like that?
I have one hit that I definitely want to say just because I keep forgetting. The Castlevania series on Netflix,
yes.
the animated one.
I haven't watched that.
Hands down, one of the best video game adaptations.
It's so good.
It's so good. Just absolutely fantastic. TVMA as all hell, but very, very, very good.
It's got, it's like it drops the F-bomb, a lot of blood.
Oh, there's a lot of blood. Yeah.
It's got the guy that played Thor in Oakenshield from The Hobbit plays the main dude. Graham McTavish plays Dracula. He does a fantastic job. No, that's good. I guess it wasn't really ever a game. I'm sure it was a game. I do like Voltron on Netflix. Not bloody, really, but still a Netflix original. You guys ever see the Tomb Raider movie?
Not the new one.
I'm talking about the old one.
Okay.
With Angelina Jolie. That was like my family's like favorite, not my family's favorite movie, but it was one of our favorites. It has Daniel Craig playing an American, which, like, why? Because there's a lot of British people in the movie. And he's American, and he's like, Laura, we got to do this. And you're like, Daniel Craig, that's not what you sound like. But I love that movie. And it feels very Tomb Raider-y.
I agree. Nice. I think one thing that like while we've been talking that's been overlooked is like the role of like merchandise in a lot of these franchises and like how much like the toys become part of it. I remember when The Mandalorian came out, like Disney lost tons of money because they did not have Grogu toys ready in time for the holidays. So the amount that like toys influence, like you go from media property to toy, and then like the toy popularity. Heck, even within Kanto, they had all these Isabella toys ready. And the thing that ended up being popular was
that's what I was just looking up because I can't remember her name.
Louisa?
Yes.
Yeah. And everyone's like, oh, we want Louisa toys. I'm like, yeah, we just need a Louisa Stretch Armstrong and we're good.
Yeah.
But yeah. Alrighty, well, as always here on Raving Geeks, we'd like to end with some recommendations for our viewers, whether that be movies, video games, comics, or anything else geeky. So who would like to start?
I'll go first. I am going to stay on my sports track today, and I am going to recommend The Blind Side. It has Sandra Bullock and Tim McGraw, Kathy Bates in it. It's about the
it's about Ole Miss football.
It is. But it's based on the book The Blind Side as well. It tells the story of Michael Oher, an American football offensive lineman who went on to play in the NFL. But I thought it was really good. I saw it when it first came out. I rewatched it the other day. It's still really good. It's just very like wholesome and shows white privilege, not realizing how privileged they actually are, but like not in a no, it's terrible that you have privilege. It's like, what can you do with that to like become better and like make sure that you're sharing your privilege with others. So yeah, that's mine. The Blind Side.
Nice.
My recommendations, I mentioned Clue. I think everyone should watch Clue. It's got 3 different endings. My friend's school did it once, and they had a different ending each night, which is pretty cool. It's fantastic, and it's got a lot of good humor and kind of slapstick comedy. Also, we mentioned toy sales, and I was just thinking about how toy sales is the reason that Teen Titans like stopped being a show, which breaks my heart. And so I recommend the original cartoon Teen Titans because I think everyone should watch that. I think it teaches a lot of important lessons.
Wait, why not Teen Titans Go?
I have nothing, to be honest. I have nothing wrong with Teen Titans Go if you consider it as its own in a vacuum. If you don't compare it to the original, it has all the same voice actors. They all came back for Teen Titans Go, which is crazy. I haven't watched much of it.
Neither have I.
The jokes are very they're more like farts, and it's more to a younger audience. It doesn't tug at your heartstrings. They make a joke about, Robin is just a joke in that show. But I heard the movie was funny. But yes, animated.
I also heard the movie was funny.
The original Teen Titans. Everyone should watch it. Robin is so badass. There's
Robin versus Slade.
Slade, and he's played by what's his nuts? Hellboy, the original.
Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman. He's played by Ron Perlman, and it's such a good voice for Slade, which is what they called Deathstroke because they didn't want to say Deathstroke on TV.
Yeah, the Teen Titans game. Did you ever play that on the GameCube?
I haven't. Mike's nodding his head.
Okay, basically what happens is you go through a lot of like the big villains from the show, and at the very end you fight Slade and you win, and then it's like, something's still wrong, and then like they break the fourth wall, and apparently the person playing was the villain the whole time because you were making them do things they didn't want to do.
It's so amazing.
It was so good.
God, I forgot about that. It has been like, I remember I got it when it first came out, and then like I never played it after that.
No, it was fun. It's fun. I should get another copy of it because I think I scratched my old copy.
I think I have an old one, so let's talk.
Nice. All right, Mike, what about you?
So this one is kind of out of left field. It's on HBO Max, and it's an Adult Swim show called Smiling Friends. And I feel like nobody knows about this one, except for people who have internet brain rot. How do I describe it? Basically, imagine 12 minutes of the really funny and like really weird stuff from like SpongeBob and like some of those Cartoon Network shows. If you know those like close-ups of like SpongeBob where it's like really gross kind of looking, or it'll be like a human character, it's basically like that, but an entire show like that, and it's really, really, really funny. Highly recommend it, but you're warned.
It's giving me like regular show but dark humor vibes.
Yes, that's it.
Or the world of Gumball, because people are like made in different animation from what I'm seeing.
Yes, they are. And actually that's like one of my favorite things, because there is this one guy that you'll find who's rotoscope. And it is the funniest thing just seeing regular people, like regular animation, and then all of a sudden rotoscope where they're just completely referenced, drawn out like a human, and the like frame rate for them is just a little too good and offsetting.
Nice. I'll have to keep that in mind. You said it's called Smiling Faces?
Smiling Friends.
Smiling Friends. Okay. I'll keep that in mind to watch. Alrighty, I have a couple of recommendations. So first of all, the short story I mentioned earlier, it's called A Study in Emerald. That's a crossover between the Lovecraft mythos and Sherlock Holmes, but it's written by Neil Gaiman.
I love Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Highly recommend. The other one, I actually just saw this live. It's a play, but you can read it as a book. I just saw it live recently, and it reminded me how much I like it. But it's called She Kills Monsters. It's basic. The play is like they act out a D&D campaign.
Ooh. Okay.
But it's about it's like a coming out story for like a teen girl in Ohio after she, like her older sister like learns more about her younger sister who has passed away in a car accident through a D&D campaign she wrote. So it's a really cool story, and I like it a lot. Third, if you have like a local taco place near you, just go get some tacos. I've been really craving tacos, and there's nothing near where I live that's like good quality.
If you're in Mount Pleasant, Los Amigos is the best. Los Amigos is the most authentic because down in Metro Detroit, there are authentic Mexican restaurants called El Patio.
Well, I mean, you got Mexican Town downtown Detroit.
Well, that too. But El Patio is run by multiple families who are Latino. And But yeah, Los Amigos in Mount Pleasant is the most authentic. Don't go to Las Aztecas. It's terrible.
I've never been to Aztecas. I go to Los
unless our
I've gone to Los
fans
Palominos.
our fans are Las Aztecas workers. We love
I
you.
promise you, Los Amigos tastes better.
I had a
I've gone to Los
Amigos
Palominos.
in my hometown. It was a different. I mean, Los Amigos is like I think it's a family-owned business, or it's at least it's its own thing. So I had a different Los Amigos that closed, and I haven't yet been to the one in town. So maybe I'll check that out.
I will also go check that out. So that is all we have for y'all today. Thank you all for joining us here on Raving Geeks. Make sure you leave a comment wherever you're listening from. We love to hear what y'all thought about what we talked about today. Hits or flops on things that kind of like switched mediums, or like tropes that worked really well. We know with like the Lego games that always seems to be a good hit. And feel free to reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter, or TikTok at Raving Geeks. And I just want to give a special thank you to our guest Mike today for popping in. Say hi.
Right,
and
you.
As always, I've been Brendan Valentine alongside my fellow co-hosts.
Hope Gooderell.
Isaac Hunter. And?
Oh, yeah, me. Mike.
Stay geeky and have a great week, everyone. So long.
Yeah.